Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about how social networking is bad for the young generation. I do believe in some aspects that social networking is good because you can use certain networks to communicate with teachers and communicate about school, and also it's easier to communicate with people that you never get to see, like family or friends. A lot of apps that are used today by our young generation are Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Kik, Snapchat, and there's a lot of dating apps that kids have access to, like Tinder and Hot or Not. And all these different social networks can lead into dangerous situations, ruin friendships, and also distract people from the important things that's going on in their lives. First of all, social networks are dismantling the human relationships. More and more people are becoming more interested in social networks, socializing over the phone instead of actually going out and having a good time with friends. And teenagers are actually meeting strangers over the internet, which leads into my next topic. A lot of teenagers are meeting strangers through a lot of social networks, and I mentioned before this can be very dangerous. I actually know someone who is 15 or 16 years old, and she was using a dating app like Hot or Not, and she started talking to this guy who lied about his age, was basically catfishing her, and he ended up coming over to her house. They ended up doing stuff, and her family ended up finding out about it. And if her family didn't find out about this, she would be in a completely different situation right now. The cops were called, social services were called, and she doesn't have any social networks. She doesn't have her phone anymore. She is basically safe because this guy could have been a completely different person than what she thought he was. And lastly, what I'm going to talk about is how kids are beginning to worry about social networks more than what's going on in their real life, like school. There was actually a guy on MTV's True Life, and he was considered Instagram famous. He was 16 years old, and he got Instagram famous for posting pictures of himself. And a lot of people started liking his pictures, and he started just worrying about what was going on Instagram all the time. And this actually ended up ruining a bunch of his friendships and his relationships with other people because he was just worried about what was going on Instagram, and there was people trying to pull him and his girlfriend apart. He quit caring about school. He never did his homework. He didn't study for tests or anything, and instead of doing his homework, he was posting pictures of himself just so he could keep his fans happy. I know a lot of people probably would disagree with me about how social networking is bad for our young generation, but this is just my opinion, and I hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for listening.